So yep, yesterday something happened to Nikki and I that at first I thought was hilariously funny. It was interesting. But the more I thought about it, the more I got it, the more and more this feeling of fear and dread set into me. So there's this podcast from Google, and it highlighted Nikki and I on our travels here throughout Turkey about could we live here? Could we make this our destination home? But the problem is they never actually talked to us. We never spoke to them in person. They just looked at all of our videos that we had created and they made a podcast. And it was maybe 80-some% correct, maybe. But my friends, that is not the scary part. Oh, no. The scary part is yet to come. When I tell you who the hosts of that podcast were, well, you're probably going to also want to curl up in a fetal position and suck your thumb because it's that scary. Subscribe for more videos. So, yep, we were on a podcast, and at the same time, we were not. I know that's very confusing, but Google took all of our videos about being here in Turkey. They gleaned all the information, and these two hosts just started yakking about Nikki and I on this podcast, and it was just so surreal listening to people talk about you knowing that they were getting certain things wrong, and at the same time you can't scream back at them because they didn't hear you. We never talked to them, but again, that is not the scary part. Okay, let me play the podcast for you, but I'm only going to play the first 3 minutes. It was a 9-minute show, but I think you're going to get a good feeling for what's going on just by listening to this. Oh, and you don't have to listen. I'll throw up some pictures from here in Turkey so that you're not completely bored and your eyes have something to do along with your ears.
All right, so today we're diving deep into moving to Turkey.
Yeah.
Like really settling in there.
Yeah.
And especially for someone who's, let's say, on a budget.
Right.
And values their personal freedom.
Yeah.
Those are two big things to think about.
They are huge.
And thankfully, we have this great case study.
Yeah, we have firsthand accounts from an American expat who actually moved to Turkey with their partner.
And not just moved there, like they live there.
Yeah, they built a life there.
For years.
For years and years.
Okay, so let's talk about their budget first.
Okay.
Because that's important to a lot of people.
Yeah.
What were they working with?
So they were living on Social Security.
Okay.
And a little extra from like YouTube stuff.
Right.
Maybe about $100 a month.
Total or?
Extra.
Extra. Okay.
Yeah.
On top of?
Social Security.
Social Security. Okay. Wow.
Let's
Not a lot to
it's not a lot.
to build a life on in a different country.
Yeah.
So let's get into the nitty-gritty of like their daily life.
Right.
What were some of those realities they faced financially? Like groceries, for example.
So they said goodbye to mega marts
Oh, really?
and hello to the local markets.
I see.
Yeah, so we're talking fresh ingredients, finding local produce, maybe even having to adjust some recipes.
Recipes?
Yeah, they had to get a little creative.
Okay.
Like how?
So-
Well, they were trying to make this classic French chicken stew,
okay.
and they just couldn't find all the ingredients locally.
So they had to improvise.
They did?
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
It's like part of the experience.
Right.
Like you can't just expect to have everything you had before.
Exactly.
You got to be open to that change.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of exciting in a way, right?
It is.
Like what else about their daily life?
Transportation.
Okay, transportation. How do they get around?
Public transportation was their best friend.
Oh, really?
They relied heavily on buses.
Okay.
Taxis were like a splurge.
Okay, I see. So they really had to, budget transportation.
You did?
Did they ever mention if they missed, like...
Having a car.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting is they never explicitly said that,
Wow.
but their actions speak louder than words.
Let's see.
They actually used resistance bands on the bus to work out.
On the bus?
On the bus.
That's dedication.
Talk about adapting to a new lifestyle.
Wow. Yeah.
So
like,
they're embracing it.
they were embracing it. They weren't complaining.
No complaints.
That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
What about, like, fun stuff?
Right?
Did they have any money for entertainment?
They did,
Oh.
but their definition of entertainment might surprise you.
How so?
Think exploring ancient ruins,
Oh, cool.
immersing themselves in the local markets,
Okay.
and get this, a $23 boat trip with a buffet.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
$23 boat trip
With a buffet.
with food included?
Included.
Hi.
That's budget travel done right.
That's incredible. Where did they even find that?
It's Turkey.
Right.
They make it work.
Okie dokie, what did you think? Did you catch what was wrong with the podcast? As we were listening to it, we were like, no. Exercise bands. I've never used exercise bands on a bus. I have no idea where they got that, and about a half a dozen other things wrong that I'll tell you what the scary part was. The absolute scary part were the two hosts. Here, let me show you a picture of them. Yep, so that was all AI. Google has this tool called NotebookLM, and it took me about 10 minutes to create that entire podcast. 8 minutes of which was learning the tool because I'd never seen it before. I gave it the URLs of my turkey videos. I typed in a little prompt that said, create me a podcast, and it made that. But here's the fun part. That wasn't everything that it created. It also created a course curriculum, an outline, a fact, a quiz that you can have people listen to that and answer to see if they got what you said right. All for about 2 minutes worth of work. It created an entire virtual universe featuring me and Nikki. So why am I so afraid of this technology, you ask? Well, it's real. It's way too real, and it's way too personal. So Rick, you say, what is so bad about that? You know, I put in a couple of videos and out popped a podcast. Whoop-de-doo. What if somebody else had done it? What if somebody else had taken my videos, made a podcast, stuck it on a YouTube channel? I'd have never known they were putting my face, my words, not quite my right words, out there in the public view. What happens if somebody instead took a whole bunch of videos, a whole bunch of words, a whole bunch of articles about this politician and that politician, and they said, hey, make a podcast. Rick and Nikki hate each other and they fight over dinner all the time because of their political differences. And they stuck that up on a YouTube channel. I wouldn't have known. You wouldn't have known that it was fake. It's just too real, and it is way too personal. Oh, and here's another scary part. Not only did it create everything I've told you it created so far, it created me. All the information that I put in, I was able to ask myself questions and answer, only it wasn't me. I typed in something going, what did Rick think of all of his travels in Turkey? Was it going to be a forever home? And it answered exactly like I would have answered. And that's scary because I didn't answer it. It just assumed it knew who I was. What if it got something wrong? It just shook me to my core knowing that I could be replicated by a machine and you would never know. I know what you're thinking. This is a channel devoted to unconventional living, to being a nomad and living life on your own terms. Why in the hell am I even telling you about all of this? Remember in the beginning where I said I heard the podcast and I thought it was hilarious. I was going, how can I use this to communicate with my audience, to show my fans what's going on? And then it really hit me what was actually happening. You see, I think the beauty of our relationship, you and I, is that it's all based on natural reality. I mean, whether we're living in a school bus or traveling here, traveling there, going to see a ghost town in Turkey, which, by the way, if you hadn't seen the video, is up here, just saying. I don't want anything to get in between us, between you and I. It's a bunch of my YouTube buddies and I about a year ago were talking. We're thinking AI is going to take over everybody's jobs. And we agreed with each other that nope, as long as you're a creator and you're doing real personal things, AI could never take our jobs away, could never take our relationship with our audiences away. But now I think it just might. I think there's a possibility of AI actually intruding on the relationship between you and me. Now, in hindsight, I probably should have seen today coming. Maybe a year ago, I was using this tool, just playing with it, that let me dub my voice in my videos in other languages using my voice. Now, Nikki, who's a native Spanish speaker, I took a video and I took a clip of it and I played it back to her, and you know what? She said it was flawless. I was truly speaking Spanish, only it wasn't me. Oh, and by the way, YouTube is releasing that tool to all creators starting next year. Okay, there's a whole lot more to this, and I'm actually going to make a Patreon video and put the entire podcast out there and kind of tell you all exactly where it went awry, because you have no way of knowing. Go out there, links in the description below, popping up somewhere. It's free, by the way. So if you're more interested in this content and this particular topic, that's the place to go. So what is the bottom line? Is AI taking over as creators and faking all of you fans out there? It's probably not going to happen today. It's probably not going to happen tomorrow, next week, or maybe even next month. But eventually it may actually happen. So I think you and I need to make a pact. Like, we need to have a secret code word that we can share, like pineapple. That way we can like whisper it to each other and we'll go, aha, you're human. Oh crap, I think my iPhone just heard that. Okay, new plan. We're gonna tug on our ears like we're Carol Burnett or something. You know, that'll be, hey, I'm a human. Got it? All right, don't tell anybody. I just thought of another major problem. What if you're not human? What if I have been making content all of these years? Here I am worried about you thinking I'm not real. What if you're not real? What have I been doing? Okay, quick, someone say pineapple or tug on your ear, something. No one? I knew it. I knew it. None of you guys are real.